Hi, Democrats. Today is Wednesday, October 5th, and it's time for the Chair's Daily Live. Happy Wednesday. So I've been talking a lot about the two U.S. Senate races that we have, the 5 congressional races, and then our statewide races, governor, lieutenant governor, corporation commission, labor commissioner, secretary of state, superintendent of public instruction. I think I got everybody. I've been talking about those ad nauseum, but I fear that I've done you guys a disservice. I think it's important, very important, that we focus on our local races. And I mean state legislature, state house, state senate, and our school board, city council, and our county races. The closer the elected official lives to your home, the more impact they have on your house, on your home. Right? So school board, they're right in your neighborhood, right? School board is right in your neighborhood. City council, they're close to you as well. And then we have state house and state senate. And so the closer they are, the more apt they are to be driving on the same roads that you drive on, going to the same grocery store that you go to, going to the same gas station. And so they're living lives very similar to yours. And a lot of times we go in and we vote for our congressperson, our governor, and we come home. Those are important races. They absolutely are, because it's how we're represented on a national stage and a national platform. They're very important. But those races, your county clerk, your like I said, your school board, your city council, those affect the roads that you drive on and things such as that. And it's very important that we focus some attention on those and educate ourselves about those races. And so for the next few days, as we get closer and closer, and as people are getting their absentee ballots in the mail, because more and more people are telling me that they're getting their absentee ballots, we have to focus on those, because I don't want you to say, shucks, Alicia's only been talking about Kendra Horn and Madison Horn. Alicia's only been talking about, Adam Martin, Naomi Andrews, Jeremiah Ross, Mary Brennan, and Joshua Harris Teal. So I only know what's happening at the congressional level. The news is only talking about what's happening in the governor's race and the superintendent of public instruction. Very, very important. Very, very important. But we also need to talk about what's happening in Jared Deck's race, and Jeremy Lamb, and Blake Aguirre, and Shakira Smith, and Trish Ranson. We also need to talk about our local races, because those are the folks who are hopefully going to pass a bill dealing with grocery sales tax. Those are the people who are going to pass a bill regarding minimum wage in Oklahoma. So we've got to focus on those races as well. And so in the next couple of days, I'm going to be having candidates in local races join me, so you can hear about those races, hear from those candidates, and get a good chance to feel like you know those candidates. Thank you, Megan. Megan Cruz has a good point. Even if you haven't gotten your absentee ballot in the mail yet, I haven't gotten mine, which is shocking and surprising to me. But even if you haven't gotten your absentee ballot in the mail, it's not too late. That you can go out to the Oklahoma State Election Board, go into the voter portal, put in your name and your birthday, and pull up your sample ballot. That'll tell you who's on your ballot. Print that puppy off and do research. Pull out a pen and paper and research everybody on your ballot. I'm going to continue to say this. The names on your ballot should represent people to you and not just names. You should know who they are. You should know something about them. It should take you this long to vote, even though we have a lot of stuff to vote on this time, because you know your candidate. You know who you're going to vote for, because you've gone to a candidate forum. You've watched an online candidate forum. You know who the candidates are that you're going to vote for. I think it's very important. So join me in the next couple of days when I'm going to be joining several local candidates, so that you can learn about them, know who they are. It is our personal responsibility, your personal responsibility, and my personal responsibility to vote every time the precinct is open. Not just when somebody you know is on the ballot, because you should know them every time, but every time. We have a choice to make, and we have choices, and we need to make them wisely while we have the chance. It's important. Our rights are not static. the rights that we think we have may not be our rights in the elections to come. We thought Roe versus Wade was settled law. This summer, they proved something different, and we have a 6-3 court. Our rights are not static. They are taking up the Voting Rights Act. They are taking up LGBT rights. They are taking up um, um, birth control. There are things that they're taking up that, we're just going around thinking that these are regular laws, but they're taking these laws up, and they may not be our rights in the coming months, coming years. The only way that we can secure those is be careful with our vote. Use our vote every time, and make sure that everybody we know votes accordingly. Now, okay, that was my big lead up, because I want you to know, I want you to join me every day and learn more about candidates. But today, I am joined by Jeremy Lamb, who is running for House District 84. Hey, Jeremy, how are you?
Hey, I'm doing great. Thanks for having me.
I'm so glad that you were able to join today.
Yeah, you bet. Just coming to you here from the office, just finished up seeing some patients, and happy to be on here with you.
Awesome. So let's tell everybody what you're running for.
Yeah, so I am the Democrat nominee from House District 84, and that's the district over here in Northwest Oklahoma City. It's mainly Bethany and Moore Acres, and then a little bit of Oklahoma City down kind of on the south east side of my district. But yeah, I'm running for House Rep out of District 84.
Okay, so looks like you already have a job.
I do. I do have a job.
Tell everybody what your job is.
Well, I currently see patients. I'm a physician assistant. I've been a physician assistant here in Oklahoma for the past 13 years. And I see patients a couple days a week here, really close to my district, over here at Total Healthcare Partners. I work for Dr. Paul Rothwell, and I see patients over here in his primary care clinic. My background in healthcare is pediatrics and primary care. And then for about 7 years, I ran my own urgent care company. And we opened up clinics in Oklahoma City, in Midwest City, Choctaw, Moore, and Edmond. And I owned and operated that for 7 years and saw patients there, and sold that last year and started coming over here a couple days a week seeing patients.
Awesome. So guys, when I tell you that in this cycle, we have some of the best qualified candidates that we've had in recent years, this is another example. We didn't just pick a name out of nowhere. He's a really smart guy. So you sold the company, you're a physician's assistant. You could be going on about your life. Why did you decide to run for office?
Yeah, great question. Well, when we sold our company, I started that urgent care with several partners, and I just sold my share to my partners. And my wife and I were kind of looking around, just trying to figure out what I wanted to do. And I felt very content with where I was in life. I didn't feel this strong urge or desire to go and start something bigger or take that business and build it into something else. And there's a lot of people that feel that way, but that just wasn't really, it takes a lot of work to do that. And that just did not fit with where I was sitting in life. I have a lot of kids. I have 6 kids, and it took a lot of time to build that business. And I was looking for a way to serve and thought about joining a nonprofit or starting a foundation or doing something. We'd found some time, and we found a little bit of margin in our life. And I was trying to find a way to serve. And last fall, I just kind of got the idea, after talking to different people, that it would be a great opportunity to go. The best way I could serve my community would be to represent them up at the Capitol and advocate for the needs of my district. And that led from one thing to another. And we decided last December to start running, and have been running ever since then.
So you say you want to serve your community. So you've been campaigning now 9 or 10 months. What are you hearing your community say?
So it's really interesting because, sometimes it changes depending on who you're talking to, whether you're talking which party you're talking to, but the vast majority of the people in my community, believe it or not, are really concerned about education. So my district is, we got about 40,000 people in it, like most House districts. The average annual income in my district is $45,000 a year. So it's not a rich district at all. It's all public schools. 90% of my district is Putnam City schools, and about 10% of it is Bethany. There's only one private school in my district, and it's a K through 6 school. And so everybody that lives in my district their kids are going to public school. They need their public schools to be quality. They need teachers that don't feel scared to do their job. And everyone I talk to is concerned about the outcomes that we've been getting from our public education, really for the past, 12, 15 years. And so I talk to different parents, and they've all tried to figure out different strategies. What do they do? But a lot of the folks in my district, they have to grow where they're planted. If they could afford to get their kids into a better school district, if they could afford higher rents in Edmond, if they could afford higher rents in Deer Creek or some other school, they would already be there. But they can't, and this is where they are. And so they need their schools in their district to do a good job and to get good outcomes. And so that has come up on the doors probably as much as anything else has, believe it or not.
So you said that, folks have noticed that the outcomes have gone down in the last 15 years. That's about how long our state legislature has been defunding education.
We haven't fully funded education since 2008. And that's just talking in nominal terms. I mean, just dollars. That's not even considering like inflation adjusted dollars. I mean, what you could have bought in 2008 compared to what you could buy now 15 years later with a flat budget, and our education funding even just this fiscal year was basically flat. But the purchasing power of those dollars has just lost so much, and it's finally coming to a head, and people are realizing it. And this is one of the reasons why I'm such an advocate for fully funding public education, is because the state is the best body to make that long-term investment. Private institutions, private companies, their incentives are going to be misaligned, in my opinion. I don't think you're going to have anybody other than the state that has a legal obligation to take care of its citizens and provide this education. They're the best people to make this long-term investment in its citizenry, because it's a long-term investment. You're not going to increase the budget or pay teachers more or allocate more resources and then see changes in 6 months or a year. It's going to take year after year of continued investment. In private companies, their incentives are quarterly and yearly profits. And it's not the long-term educational outcomes that we need. So the state is a great person and a great entity to make that investment.
So knowing that, when you get to the legislature, what will you do to help education?
Well, I think the most important thing about getting to if my district elected me, and I would be honored if they did, I would be one voice in a changing conversation about public education. And, for Democrats in Oklahoma, we know what we're up against. I mean, there's 100 seats in the state house. Democrats sit in 20 of them. There's 45, 46 seats in the state Senate. We sit in like 6 of them. And so what has to happen is we have to start putting people in those seats that will not just provide. There I am. Hello, I'm back now. Sorry. We can't put people in those seats anymore that just provide lip service about wanting public education to be better. We have to find people that will be willing to actually allocate resources and votes to make those changes. Because, I mean, if you ask anybody in any race, do they support public education or do they want better educational outcomes? They'll say yes. Of course they'll say yes. And they'll say they're for teachers and they'll say they're for students. But the ethos, the spirit of this state for the past 15 years has not been to make that investment. And so if my district elects me, they will get an advocate for public education. I mean, I view public education almost like a public utility, right? I mean, it has to be an investment made continuously that benefits everybody. And so my commitment to the folks in my district is that if you elect me, I will support public education both with words and dollars, if given the chance. So
Okay. Well, I don't live in 84, but right this then you got me, because you can't just say it. You actually have to do something. And our legislature has been doing things, but they've been doing things that are beating up on teachers and, you know, not helping educational outcomes. So it's good to hear. And so I want to remind folks, here's where we are. There are 101 seats in our state house. 101. Democrats sit in 18. There are 48 seats in our state Senate, and Democrats sit in 9. Right now, our representatives are the best debaters there are. They will get in there with the fight. They will get in there with the logic and the facts, but we need more of them to get in there with real change. They need to be able to argue the facts in numbers and able to sway what happens with the laws and bills that come out of our legislature. So the way we do that is we expand how many folks are there. Adding somebody like Jeremy, adding Jeremy specifically adds to our numbers, because that's what we have to do. We have to grow the number beyond 18. 18 out of 101, they barely have a fighting chance. They fight. They are small but mighty. They fight, but we need to give them more folks to give them a fighting chance. I want to thank everybody for joining me, particularly you, Jeremy. What kind of help can you use from the folks?
Well, man, I can use all their help. This week specifically, I have a fundraiser in Bethany tomorrow night from 6 to 8 o'clock that I would love for anyone who would you don't have to give money. Just come meet me, and I would love to meet you. I would love for you to give money. That would be great. But I would love to just come meet you and say hello to you and talk to you. Over the next 6 weeks before the election, I guess 5 weeks, this upcoming Saturday on the 8th, you'll have an opportunity if you want to come out and knock doors. I'll send you some doors that won't be confrontational doors. I'll send you to some doors of Democrats and independents in our district, and you can go knock them and remind them to come out and vote. So I have a fundraiser tomorrow, door knocking on Saturday. And any feedback folks want to give to me is great. It is running for office in a district that hasn't sent a Democrat to the state house for 48 years. At times can be challenging, but I'm telling you, we've got a great chance. I mean, we have put the work in for the past 9 months. We've knocked the doors. I'm working with a great group. They've got a great strategy for me. And honestly, the district is it's different. It's younger, it's more diverse, and the things that our leadership supports would have been perfect for this district in 1995. But the district has changed. And I'm hoping that we can change our House rep as well. But we will see. We'll see.
Okay, so can people find out about your fundraiser on your website?
Oh, yes. Just go to my website and go to my Facebook page. You can get there and find all about that if they need to. That'd be a quick one-stop for them for everything. Okay,
so this is the part of my live, everybody, where I beg you to pick a candidate or two. Get out there, help that candidate, share their social media, but that's not enough because Facebook doesn't vote. Get out there, help them knock doors if you can for them, drive them around. If you don't feel comfortable knocking doors, write the postcards, make the phone calls, help them put out signs. They need your help right now. Here is a candidate who needs your help right now. Please find a couple of candidates to help. We have 5 weeks. 5 weeks, just under 5 weeks.
Can't
to get
wait.
as many people out to the ballot box as we can. That is the only way that we change what's happening in our legislature. Thank you all, and I'll be back here tomorrow at 4:15. I'll be joined by Blake Aguirre.
Bye. Thank you.